Have you ever seen a bird so colorful? You wondered if nature was showing off? Because today we're diving headfirst into a living rainbow. The top 15 most colorful birds in the world. From tiny blue kings of the riverbanks to dazzling dancers of the rainforest, these birds don't just wear colors, they flaunt them. Some shimmer like gemstones, some glow like neon signs in the jungle, and one looks like it escaped from a box of crayons. But here's the crazy part. Every color has a purpose. Those electric blues, they're not even pigments. They're microscopic mirrors reflecting light. And those fiery reds, sometimes they're love letters written in feathers. We'll travel from the misty Andes to the heart of the Amazon, from Asian temples to Australian backyards, to meet birds so vivid they make peacocks look kinda basic. So buckle up, grab your binoculars, and maybe your sunglasses, because the first bird on our list is pure chaos wrapped in feathers. Meet the Rainbow Lorikeet, Australia's flying explosion of color and personality. If you've ever seen a rainbow with wings, congratulations. You just met the Rainbow Lorikeet. This bird isn't shy, it's basically nature's idea of a party. Found along Australia's sunny coasts, rainbow lorikeets zip through the trees, screaming like feathered toddlers who just had too much sugar. They travel in noisy flocks, chatting, arguing, flirting, sometimes all at once. Their feathers burst with color. Electric blue heads, lime green wings, fiery orange chests, and a bright red beak that looks freshly painted. And get this, their tongues are brush-tipped. Yep, like tiny paintbrushes. Instead of eating seeds like most parrots, these little guys slurp up nectar and pollen straight from flowers, leaving them with faces covered in golden dust. It's cute, until you realize they'll also raid fruit trees and make a sticky mess. But here's the twist. For all their loud, chaotic energy, rainbow lorikeets are romantics at heart. They mate for life, often seen snuggling, preening each other, or just hanging upside down like a couple on a roller coaster date. Scientists say these pairs can stay together for over 20 years. And honestly, that's more loyal than half of Hollywood. Their colors also have a job. That bright plumage helps them recognize each other in dense forests, and maybe, just maybe, to show off who's the prettiest bird in the neighborhood. And when a whole flock takes off together, it's not just a sound, it's a spectacle, like someone set the sky on fire with confetti. So here's a question for you. If you could have one color from the rainbow lorikeet's feathers as your hair color for a day, which would you choose? Tell me in the comments and let's see which shade wins, Team Electric Blue or Team Sunset Orange. Because next up, we're heading to North America to meet a bird so colorful it looks hand-painted by an artist. The painted bunting. If an artist ever tried to paint a rainbow bird, they'd probably give up halfway, because nature already did it better. Meet the painted bunting, North America's very own masterpiece on wings. The male looks like he was dipped in every color Crayola ever made. Sapphire blue head, emerald green back, fire red chest, and a touch of yellow just to make sure no shade feels left out. It's the kind of bird that makes you blink twice and ask, wait, is that real? Here's the fun part. Young males don't start out like this. For their first year, they're plain green, just like the females. Only when they're ready to impress do they burst into color, as if saying, okay, ladies, I'm ready now. Talk about a late bloomer glow-up. These birds live across the southern US and Central America, but spotting one isn't easy. They're shy, preferring to sing from hidden branches. Their song, a sweet whistling tune, sounds like summer mornings and sunshine. And fun fact, back in the 1800s, painted buntings were so admired that people actually tried to keep them as pets. Thankfully, that's now illegal, Because honestly, some beauty belongs only in the wild. When they migrate, they travel all the way to Central America, tiny but determined. Imagine carrying all those colors across thousands of miles without a single smudge. But here's something to think about. If you had this many colors on your body, would you feel confident or self-conscious? Maybe that's why the painted bunting hides so often. Even beauty can be exhausting sometimes. Still, when sunlight hits its feathers just right, it looks less like a bird and more like a living piece of art. And speaking of living art, our next bird takes the concept of style to a whole new level. It's the only duck in the world that looks like it's dressed for a royal parade. Meet the mandarin duck. If there was ever a bird that could outdress a royal, this would be it. The mandarin duck doesn't just swim, it glides like it knows everyone's watching. Males look absolutely unreal. A golden orange sail of feathers on their back, royal blue stripes, emerald green eyes, purple chest, and those bright red bills. It's like nature went wild with the paintbrush and forgot to stop. Even their reflection in the water looks like a moving painting. And get this, they've inspired centuries of art and poetry across Asia. In China, the mandarin duck is a symbol of eternal love and fidelity. Why? Because these birds mate for life. If one loses its partner, it often refuses to pair again. Now that's devotion. And a little heartbreaking too, right? But here's the fun twist. The females. They're plain gray-brown, elegant but simple. When you see a pair together, it's like a movie couple. One dazzling extrovert and one calm, quiet soulmate, keeping things grounded. During courtship, males show off by stretching their colorful sails and bowing dramatically, like feathered samurais trying to win a heart. And somehow, it works every time. What's crazy is that the mandarin duck isn't just beautiful, it's smart. They nest high up in trees, sometimes 30 feet above ground. When the ducklings hatch, they leap from the hole, tiny balls of fluff falling straight into the pond below. It sounds dangerous, but don't worry. They bounce. Seriously, scientists say they can survive the drop unharmed. Watching a group of them swim through golden morning light is like seeing real-life jewels drifting on water. It's peaceful, poetic, and absolutely mesmerizing. So here's a thought for you. If you could choose one animal to represent true love, would it still be doves? Or have the mandarins just stolen that crown? Tell me below, because next we're flying to Africa to meet a bird whose colors don't just shine. They dance in the air. Meet the lilac-breasted roller. If you've ever seen a sunset take flight, you've probably seen the lilac-breasted roller. This bird doesn't just wear colors, it performs them. Found across sub-Saharan Africa, the roller is a showstopper with pastel magic all over. Lilac chest, turquoise belly, mint green wings, and splashes of cobalt blue that flash every time it dives through the air. It looks like someone mixed a sunset and a peacock, then gave it jet engines. Locals call it the painted bird, and for good reason. When it soars, those colors shimmer like silk under sunlight. Photographers literally chase this bird across the savannah just for one perfect shot. But here's the fun part. This beauty isn't all looks. It's got attitude. Lilac-breasted rollers are fearless. They'll take on snakes, hawks, even bigger birds, rolling and flipping midair to chase intruders out of their territory. That's actually how they got their name, from their daring, rolling dives during flight. And when mating season hits, oh boy, it turns into a full-on air show. Males perform acrobatic loops, twists, and skydives to impress females. Imagine a stunt pilot covered in rainbow feathers trying to flirt. Here's a twist you'll love. In many African cultures, this bird symbolizes peace and joy, and some tribes even release one at weddings as a blessing for the couple. That's how iconic its beauty is. But here's a question for you. If a bird like this landed in your backyard, would you grab your camera first, or just stand there completely speechless? Be honest, because this one's hard to believe even when it's right in front of you. From the open skies of Africa, let's head deep into the Amazon, where the next bird looks like it glows under black light. With neon greens, sky blues, and a tail of fire, meet the paradise tanager. If the jungle ever threw a rave party, the paradise tanager would be the one in charge of the lights. Seriously, this bird looks like it was designed by someone who thought, what if rainbows had batteries? Found in the treetops of the Amazon basin, the paradise tanager flashes every color you can imagine. A lime green head, bright sky blue belly, red and yellow rump, and sleek black wings that make everything else pop like neon under a spotlight. It's small, about the size of a sparrow, but when the sunlight hits, it glows like a tiny LED in the rainforest. And here's the fun part. Scientists still don't fully understand how its feathers reflect so much light. They're not just pigmented. They have microscopic structures that bend light, creating colors brighter than anything paint could ever make. So, yeah, nature invented holographic fashion long before we did. These birds hang out high in the canopy, moving in noisy, colorful flocks that sound like a tiny orchestra tuning up. They feed on fruits and insects, spreading seeds as they go, basically acting as gardeners for the jungle. Without them, many Amazon plants wouldn't survive. But here's the twist. There are actually different color variations depending on where they live. Some have purple backs, others green or turquoise, as if the rainforest itself can't decide on just one outfit. Every region gets its own remix. Watching a flock of paradise tanagers dart through the trees feels like watching a handful of jewels tossed into sunlight. Here 1 second, gone the next. So here's a fun question. If you could design your own bird, what 2 colors would you combine to make it unforgettable? Drop your color combo below. Let's see who can outshine nature itself. Because next, we're trading neon feathers for royal elegance. The golden pheasant from China, a bird so majestic it looks straight out of a palace painting. If royalty ever had feathers, they'd look exactly like the golden pheasant. This bird doesn't just walk through the forest, it parades through it. Native to the mountains of China, the golden pheasant is a walking flame. Shimmering golden crest, crimson breast, emerald green back, and a long striped tail that flows like silk. When sunlight hits its feathers, it doesn't just shine. It glows, as if it's carrying a little sunrise wherever it goes. Fun fact, in Chinese culture, this bird symbolizes good fortune and prosperity. Ancient emperors even used the golden pheasant as inspiration for royal robes and artwork. That brilliant golden crown, it's said to represent the power of the sun. Talk about a style statement. But here's the twist. For all its royal looks, the male golden pheasant is surprisingly clumsy. During mating season, he struts, circles, and fans out his golden cape like a runway model, only to trip over a twig or bump into a bush. It's dramatic, hilarious, and somehow still irresistible to the females. Proof that confidence really is the best accessory. These pheasants spend most of their time hidden in dense forests, and despite their wild colors, they can vanish in seconds once they dive into the shade. That mix of bright and dark feathers, it's actually camouflage genius, blending perfectly with sun-dappled forest floors. Their call sounds like a short whistle, not exactly impressive. But when they spread that glowing cape, no one's listening anyway. If you ever spot one in the wild, you'll understand why people in Asia call it the bird born from sunlight. So here's a question for you. If confidence had a color, would it be gold like this bird, or something else entirely? Tell me your pick below, because our next star is even smaller, but somehow even flashier. Say hello to the Wilson's bird of paradise, a bird so colorful, Scientists thought it was a hoax when they first saw it. If Picasso ever came back as a bird, this would be him. Meet the Wilson's bird of paradise, a tiny, electrifying creature from Indonesia that looks too perfect to be real. It's small, barely the size of your hand. But when you see one, your brain just stops for a second. Its head shines in electric turquoise blue, its chest glows red and yellow, and its tail, two delicate curly wires that spiral like question marks in the air. It's like a living jewel, handcrafted by nature with zero mistakes. But here's where things get wild. That blue crown on its head isn't made of feathers, it's bare skin. The color comes from microscopic cells that bend light to create that unreal, metallic shimmer. Even under a microscope, it looks like something from another planet. Wilson's bird of paradise lives deep in the rainforests of Indonesia's islands, and it's so rare that most locals have never seen one. To attract a mate, the male performs one of the most bizarre and beautiful courtship dances in the animal kingdom. He clears a dance floor on the forest floor, removes every single leaf and twig, then hops around it like a neon acrobat, flashing his colors in perfect rhythm. And the female, she just sits there on a branch, judging like a talent show judge. One wrong move and she's gone. Talk about pressure. Fun fact, it took the legendary naturalist Alfred Russel Wallace more than 6 years to finally witness this bird's dance in the 1800s. When he did, he described it as the most extraordinary sight in nature. So here's a question for you. If you could design your own dance costume inspired by this bird, what colors would you choose? Drop your wildest combo in the comments, because up next, we're heading into the misty mountains of South America to meet a bird that looks like a fiery gemstone with wings. Say hello to the Andean cock of the rock. Imagine walking through a misty jungle, the light barely breaking through the trees, when suddenly something bright orange flashes past your face. That's the Andean cock of the rock, the bird that decided subtlety was overrated. Found high in the cloud forests of the Andes, this bird looks like it's been dipped in molten lava. Males are blazing orange from head to chest, with jet black wings and a fan-shaped crest that covers almost their entire face. They look like someone glued an orange slice to a pigeon and turned up the saturation to max. And get this, these guys are loud. When it's time to impress the ladies, they gather in leks, basically bird nightclubs, where up to 20 males jump, squawk, bow, and flutter all at once. It's a wild, feathery dance-off that looks part Broadway, part chaos. And the females, they quietly watch from the sidelines, pretending not to care while secretly judging every move. Fun fact, that huge crest isn't just decoration, it actually helps amplify their calls. So when one screams, the jungle feels it. Their voice bounces through the trees like a trumpet announcing royalty. But here's the twist. Despite being so flashy, they're incredibly shy around humans. The moment you spot one, it vanishes into the mist like an orange ghost. No wonder photographers hike for days just to catch a glimpse. Some locals call it tunki and believe it brings luck if you see it during sunrise. And honestly, when you watch that fiery bird glow in golden light, it's easy to believe in magic. So here's a question for you. If you had to pick one bird to represent confidence, would it be this one? Or does another species steal that title? Tell me below, because next we're heading to India to meet the ultimate icon of elegance. A bird so famous, even kings kept its feathers as treasures. Get ready for the Indian peafowl. If fashion had a national bird, it would be this one. Meet the Indian peafowl, the peacock, the bird that turns every walk into a red carpet moment. With feathers shimmering in sapphire blue, emerald green, and bronze gold, the male peacock looks like a walking rainbow draped in royalty. But the real show begins when he fans out that legendary tail, a dazzling curtain of color stretching over 5 feet wide, covered in shimmering eyes that seem to glow and move as he struts. It's not just beautiful, it's hypnotic. Fun fact, those eye spots aren't actually painted on by color pigments. They're created by microscopic structures in the feathers that bend light, producing that metallic shimmer. Nature's built-in hologram. During courtship, males gather in open clearings to dance, shake, and call out to nearby females. They even choose the sunniest spots because they know exactly how to catch the light for maximum sparkle. Smart move, right? But here's the twist. Despite being a worldwide symbol of beauty and pride, the peacock's scream is, let's say, less than royal. It's loud, harsh, and sounds a bit like someone stepping on a trumpet. If you've ever heard one, you know. It's majestic until it opens its mouth. In India, the peafowl is a sacred bird, the national bird actually, symbolizing immortality, grace, and the beauty of the natural world. You'll find it carved into temples, woven into fabrics, even painted into wedding art. When a peacock spreads its tail under the monsoon rain, it's not just showing off. It's announcing renewal, celebration, and life. And maybe, just maybe, reminding us that confidence shines brightest when it comes from within. So tell me, if you could borrow one trait from the peacock, would it be its confidence, its colors, or its unapologetic flair for drama? Drop your answer below, because next we're soaring into the rainforests of Central and South America to meet one of the boldest talkers in the bird world, the Scarlet Macaw. If the jungle had a spokesperson, it would absolutely be the Scarlet Macaw. Bold, beautiful, and never afraid to speak its mind. This bird is basically the rock star of the rainforest. Covered in blazing red, sunshine yellow, and ocean blue feathers, the Scarlet Macaw looks like a carnival come to life. They soar across the canopies of Central and South America in loud, laughing flocks, filling the forest with color and chaos. When you see one in flight, those wings flash like stained glass catching fire. Fun fact, Scarlet Macaws mate for life, and they actually talk to their partners with soft chirps and squawks only they understand. It's like a secret love language in the treetops. But when they're not being romantic, oh boy, they're loud. Their call can echo for miles, like a tropical alarm clock that never hits snooze. And get this, they're one of the most intelligent birds on the planet. They can mimic sounds, recognize faces, and even solve puzzles for fun. In captivity, some have learned to use words in context, basically feathered toddlers with better color coordination. Here's the twist. Those dazzling colors aren't just for show. They help Scarlet Macaws blend in with the bright fruits and flowers of the rainforest canopy. To predators, that chaos of red and yellow actually hides them. Camouflage by color explosion. Only nature could pull that off. Sadly, their beauty also makes them a target. Illegal pet trade and deforestation have reduced their numbers in many areas, but conservation programs are bringing them back. In Costa Rica, seeing a pair flying together at sunset is considered a sign of good luck and pure magic. So here's a question for you. If you could have a pet parrot that talked like a human, would you do it, or would the noise drive you crazy? Tell me below, because next up we're meeting a bird with a beak so colorful it looks straight out of a cartoon. The keel-billed toucan. If you ever thought cartoon birds were exaggerated, think again. Meet the keel-billed toucan, a real-life Disney character flying through the jungles of Central and South America. This bird looks like someone glued a rainbow to its face and said, "Perfect." Its oversized bill is painted in neon green, lemon yellow, fiery orange, and cherry red, a full tropical palette that somehow works. Even the tip glows electric blue. It's not just colorful, it's iconic. Here's the wild part. Despite how massive that beak looks, it's actually super light. Made of keratin and air pockets, it's strong but weighs almost nothing. Think of it as the bird version of carbon fiber. That giant bill isn't just for show either. It's a tool, a weapon, and a fruit-snatching gadget all in one. And fun fact, the toucan uses that colorful beak to toss fruit into the air and catch it mid-flight. If there were an Olympic sport for fruit juggling, this guy would take gold every year. Keel-billed toucans are social, funny, and a little dramatic. They croak instead of sing. Their call sounds like a frog honking through a megaphone. It's ridiculous and unforgettable. But here's the twist. That bright bill also plays a role in temperature control. Scientists discovered the toucan can adjust blood flow through its beak to cool down, like a built-in air conditioner. So yeah, it's not just good-looking, it's efficient. Locals in Belize call it the rainbow toucan, and it's their national bird, a symbol of joy and tropical life. Spotting one perched on a tree branch, its bill glowing in the morning sun, feels like seeing the rainforest smile back at you. So, let's settle this debate. If you could design your own bird mascot, would you go for elegance like the peacock or pure fun like the toucan? Tell me in the comments, because next we're slowing things down with one of the most elegant, royal-looking pigeons on Earth, the blue-crowned pigeon. Think pigeons are boring? Wait till you meet the blue-crowned pigeon. This bird is like the glamorous cousin of every city pigeon you've ever ignored. Found in the lowland rainforests of New Guinea, the blue-crowned pigeon looks more like a queen than a bird. It's huge, the largest pigeon species on Earth, and it walks with the calm confidence of someone who knows they look amazing. Its feathers shimmer in deep royal blue with touches of maroon on the chest, and that crest, oh, that crest, looks like a delicate lace crown made of feathers tipped in silver. When it struts through the forest floor, sunlight catches the feathers like velvet under a spotlight. You half expect it to start giving royal decrees. Fun fact, unlike most pigeons that coo softly, this one makes a deep, resonant boom sound that echoes through the jungle. It's not just a call, it's a royal announcement. The queen has arrived. They live in small groups, quietly foraging for fruits and seeds, always polite, never chaotic like their city cousins. But here's the twist. Despite their royal poise, they're incredibly gentle and social. They even bow to each other as a greeting, lowering their heads in what looks like the most formal bird handshake you'll ever see. Sadly, their beauty has made them targets for hunting and habitat loss, and they're now considered vulnerable, which feels wrong, because if any bird deserves protection, it's this feathered masterpiece. Seeing one up close feels like meeting a fairy tale come to life. Elegant, mysterious, and a little too perfect. So here's a thought for you. If you had to name a royal bird for your country, would it be this graceful pigeon or something even more dramatic? Tell me below, because next, we're about to meet a bird that's all about color and attitude. With purple feathers, a red beak, and the confidence of a runway model, meet the purple gallinule. If you ever see something purple walking across lily pads like it's late for a meeting, that's not a dream, it's the purple gallinule. This bird is basically what happens when elegance and chaos share the same body. Found in wetlands and marshes across the southeastern US, Central America, and the Caribbean, the purple gallinule glows like a jewel in the sunlight. Its feathers shift between violet, green, and blue depending on the angle of light, like living oil paint. Add a red and yellow beak and bright yellow legs, and you've got a bird that looks like it was designed by a Miami fashion designer. But here's the showstopper. This bird walks on water. Well, sort of. Its huge, long toes let it step across floating plants and lily pads without sinking. A literal swamp acrobat. Watching it tiptoe over flowers feels like watching a bird practicing ballet in slow motion. Fun fact, purple gallinules are great climbers too. They can scale tall reeds and stalks just to grab fruit or insects, using those same long toes as climbing hooks. Imagine having hands for feet. That's their secret. Here's the twist. Despite their bright colors, these birds can vanish in an instant. When threatened, they fold their neck, freeze, and somehow disappear into the green like a magic trick. 1 second they're glowing purple, the next they're gone. Their chicks, by the way, are covered in black fluff and have enormous feet. They look like tiny swamp monsters straight out of a cartoon. Spotting one in the wild feels special, like finding a rare gem walking on water. They bring color to places most people overlook, the quiet, muddy edges of life. So here's a question. If you could walk on water like the purple gallinule, where's the first place you'd go? Tell me in the comments, because next we're heading down under to meet a bird that's all about sleek design and electric blue speed. Say hello to the azure kingfisher. If lightning ever decided to turn into a bird, it would look like the azure kingfisher. This tiny Australian hunter doesn't just fly, it flashes through the air like a streak of living sapphire. Barely 6 inches long, the azure kingfisher is small but unforgettable. Its feathers shimmer in deep electric blue and violet on top, with a warm orange chest that glows like sunset against the riverbanks it calls home. And those eyes? Jet black, focused, and ready to strike. You'll find it perched silently on a low branch above a creek, looking calm, almost cute, until, bam, it dives into the water faster than your eyes can follow, snatching a tiny fish with perfect precision. It's like watching a feathered bullet with a built-in radar. Fun fact, despite living near rivers and lakes, azure kingfishers are super tidy eaters. They'll always return to the same perch, smack their catch against it a few times, to stun it, of course, then swallow it whole. No mess, no leftovers, efficiency at its finest. Their burrows are another surprise. Instead of building nests in trees, they dig tunnels into muddy riverbanks. At the end of the tunnel, they create a small nesting chamber, safe, cool, and hidden from predators. It's like having a secret riverside apartment. And here's the twist. The brighter their feathers shine, the healthier the bird is. That means their glow is literally nature's version of a status update. The more vibrant the blue, the stronger the mate. When you see one dart across the water, the flash is so fast it almost doesn't seem real. It's one of those blink and you'll miss it wonders that remind you how alive the world really is. So tell me, if you could have a superpower like this bird, would you rather move that fast or glow that bright? Drop your answer below, because next, we're closing our journey with a bird that's both stunning and vanishing from our planet. The rare, beautiful, and endangered Guernsey's pitta. Our final bird is a masterpiece, but one you might never see in your lifetime. Meet the Guernsey's pitta, a tiny creature from the forests of Myanmar and southern Thailand, often called the bird that almost disappeared. At first glance, it doesn't shout for attention, but when sunlight hits its feathers, it quietly takes your breath away. A bright yellow throat, a royal blue crown, a glossy black body with earthy browns. The contrast is perfection. It's like the jungle painted this bird in secret, using light instead of color. Here's the heartbreaking twist. For decades, scientists thought this bird was extinct. Entire generations of birdwatchers grew up believing the Guernsey's pitta was gone forever. Until 1986, when a small population was rediscovered in a remote patch of forest. That moment was described as finding a rainbow in the dark. But its story is still fragile. Deforestation has destroyed most of its home, and fewer than a few hundred survive today. They nest on the forest floor, making them easy targets for habitat loss. Yet, against all odds, they're still here, singing softly in the undergrowth, a reminder that beauty can survive even when the world forgets. Fun fact, Pita comes from a word meaning bright or glowing, which feels fitting for a bird that brings light to some of the darkest corners of the jungle. Conservationists are fighting hard to protect what's left of its habitat, because losing a bird like this isn't just a scientific loss, it's an emotional one. If you ever needed proof that beauty and fragility often go hand in hand, this little bird is it. So here's my question for you. If you could save one endangered bird, would it be this one, or another that stole your heart today? Tell me in the comments, because your voice, just like theirs, deserves to be heard. And speaking of voices, let's wrap things up. From the wild forests of the Amazon to the rice fields of Asia, from glowing rivers in Australia to the mountain mists of the Andes, we've seen just how wildly creative nature can be. Every feather, every shimmer, every strange dance, it's proof that the world isn't just alive, it's celebrating. These birds don't paint with brushes, they paint with light. They remind us that beauty isn't rare, it's everywhere. You just have to slow down and look for it. Sometimes it's loud and laughing, like a Scarlet Macaw shouting through the jungle. Sometimes it's quiet and fragile, like the Guernsey's Pita whispering from the shadows. But every one of them adds a color to the story of our planet. And here's the truth. If we lose these birds, we don't just lose species. We lose songs, colors, and stories that took millions of years to create. That's why learning about them, caring about them, actually matters. So tell me down below, which of these colorful wonders stole your heart today? Was it the bold Rainbow Lorikeet, the royal Peafowl, or the mysterious little Pita clinging to survival? Your answer might just tell me what kind of color you bring to the world too. If you loved this journey, don't forget to hit subscribe and ring that little bell. We've got even more incredible bird stories coming your way. Next time, we'll dive into the strangest birds on Earth. The ones so weird you won't believe they're real. Trust me, you don't want to miss that one. Until then, keep your eyes on the trees and your heart open to wonder. Because somewhere out there, another rainbow with wings is waiting to be discovered.